All right, guys, I'm back with a freaking little cigar. We got a little one today. We got a little one, and it's all over the ground. All right, didn't mean to do that. But anyways, guys, is my mic on? My mic is on. It's almost Halloween, guys. It's freaking Halloween. Can you believe it, guys? It's freaking Halloween. It's raining. We got a rainy ass day. It's like gloomy. But remember what? Do you remember when Samwise Gamgee in the Lord of the Rings? He was like, Frodo, Frodo. No, that's Pippin. Fuck, or Mary. I don't know. He's like, Frodo, the sun will shine out the clearer. The sun will shine again, guys. It'll freaking shine again. But yeah, almost Halloween. Tomorrow's actually Halloween, guys. Um, my costume. This is my costume actually. I'm gonna go as the milkman. Um, I'm going to New York City, but I'm going as the milkman. So I'm gonna wear this hat with a white shirt or a white sweater, or whatever, and I'm gonna have my carton of milk, raw milk. So, all right. So, guys, let's talk about fear. There's so much fear, freaking fear. This thing that's always there. It feels like that's actually a good thing. If you feel your fear constantly, um, it, you should always be touching your fear. Why am I holding this? You should always be touching your fear. What I mean by that is you should be as close to your fear as possible, basically 24/7. Now, when you sleep, I'm not saying have nightmares, but when when you're just living your life, it's a beautiful thing. And this doesn't mean you're afraid of everything. There's a difference, There's people out there, sheep, for instance. And when I say sheep, I mean people who can't think for themselves, their followers, stuff like that. Uh, they're afraid of everything. And what do we think? Like, what do we think at the end of the day? Like that bad habits, stuff like that. That it's all fear. It's all resistance. It's all distraction from facing your fear. And the sun's coming out a little bit. Um, yeah, all these things are a distraction from facing your fear. And a good life requires that you basically are touching fear constantly. And like I said, it doesn't mean you're afraid. Like you're afraid in the typical sense where um, you're like Halloween afraid. You're fucking shitting your pants. Um, but I mean fear as in like more like psychological, emotional fears. Like you're afraid of, for instance, you're afraid of writing. You could be afraid of writing. It shows that there's something there that you should be doing. You're afraid of talking to someone. Um, you're afraid of telling your parents something. All this stuff, it shows you that there's something there. And you should be able to feel that basically every day for the rest of your life. And that means, and those fears are always moving towards higher things if you're doing this properly. Um, and I wanted to talk about fear because Halloween is about fear, and it's about fear. So, is it about fear? I don't even know. It just reminds me of fear because you fucking costumes and shit. Although a milkman isn't that scary, but or neither is a slut bunny. But for real, like I feel like Halloween has become low key like Miami Beach now. Like everyone wants to be the bunny, bro. Like a naked bunny. But anyways, Yeah, guys. So don't be afraid. What is it? Jesus. Jesus says this shit. I think all great leaders, all great visionaries throughout history have said this. Just do not fear. It gets you nowhere. It gets you absolutely nowhere when you fear things. When you're constantly, because what fear does, or we'll talk about what fear is. The fear is your ego trying to survive. Your ego's afraid of change because that threatens its survival, and the ego's job is to preserve itself. So, in a sense, you're just afraid of yourself. If you think about it that way, like all fear is a fear of the self. You're afraid of the next self or whatever other self you can transform into. And nature does this effortlessly. It's always changing. There's no ego. It's just always with the flow. Now, we can emulate that. I feel like, we, not in the sense where, you know, I mean, go with the flow, I guess, but also have like bound or discipline to it and all that stuff. But nature is discipline, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, fear is basically you're afraid of what you're not. There's a quote that says, um, and I don't even like bringing up quotes, to be honest. I just like speaking my own stuff. But what is it? It's like, show me who you are, and I'll show you what you're afraid of, and then show me what you're afraid of, and I'll show you who you are. The ego is afraid of what it isn't. So if you're a fat, lazy slob who plays video games all day, um, what are you afraid of? You're afraid of the opposite of that, which is, someone who's not addicted to video games and who's not a lazy slob and who has a life purpose, who has all this stuff. You're afraid of that. I keep hearing this fucking there's um there's a Halloween decoration in the front that makes noises and shit. Like it's fucking talking all day because it turns on by movement and it's a windy ass day. So don't be afraid, guys. Do not fear. Fear is the opposite of love. I guess fear is love in a sense, but fear is the opposite of love, guys. Don't fear. Do not fear. It's gonna be all right. And that sounds like, when you're going through it, when you're in the thick of it, you hear that shit, you're like, do not fear. you're like, fuck that. Um, and that's a part of growth is just taking truths with you along the way and then actually realizing that they're true and that you can't escape truth. And I feel like a lot of people are just depressed and anxious and stuff like that, because they aren't aware that they're just living their lives to avoid fear, and they're just alienating themselves and just doing things they don't want to do, like fucking cold showers. Like I'm not against cold water therapy. I'm not, but like cold showers, bro. Like, fuck that shit. Now you could say, you're afraid of it, but that's not really what I'm referring to. I'm referring to more like psychological, um, emotional fears. For some people, it's easy to work all day. Um, for some people, it's easy to talk to people, and basically, you have to find your edge in whatever area that you feel fear. And this leads to an engage, and I've talked about this many times, that what you in life, what you want is engagement, maximum engagement, and that brings maximum joy, um, bliss, because you're not, there's this tendency that we as humans have. What is this shit on my pants, bro? It's like this yellow shit on my pants. There's fucking marker stains on my pants and shit. What's going on? Jesus. I love these pants too. And the fucking yellow shit. But anyways, that sucks. Got fucking marker stains and shit. I'm doing this during the video and shit. Whatever. Um, that's my biggest pet peeve of mine. Stains on my clothes. And it always happens. So, um, yeah, humans have this tendency to just hate the edge, hate the fear, hate that because it's intense. It's so intense, especially when something matters to you and you're afraid of it. It's intense. Um, and so we like slip away into either ideologies and bad habits and just addiction, stuff like that. For many people, this is just social media, where you feel the fear and you run away. Um, you have to develop the capacity to feel the fear, but then move towards it, because that's gonna, build the life that you want. And we always want to change. The mind wants to change. It wants all the goodies that come with change, but it doesn't actually want to change. Doesn't actually want to change. It's rustling. It's rustling. Gets you nowhere, guys. Fear gets you nowhere. Um, it basically it creates a hamster wheel effect. I feel like, where it's like you're asking why you're stuck in life, and truly the answer is because you're just not close enough to your fear. You're just not. It should be a daily thing. Basically, every moment you should be feeling fear. Um, and you don't want to go too far with this, like where you're just um, you can develop this thing where it's like you're too intense. You don't want to go overboard. You just want to lightly touch it, so you just move the needle inches by inches, daily. And you don't want to be too far away from it. You gotta find the sweet spot. And I can't tell you what that is. You gotta tell yourself what that is. Yeah, guys. You know, October is always weird for me because like you're going into the winter and like you're like, oh my god, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's like you go to the doctor's office as a kid or some shit. And I understand why kids hate doctors. Most of them suck. But they sometimes kids are smarter than adults. But yeah, there's like October, like you're going into the winter and you're like, no, 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 no. Because guys, the winter is, it's tough for me, honestly. Because I love the sun. I love, the vibes of the sun. Like everyone's out, we're fucking getting after it. We're doing all this stuff. It's lit. But I always, as I get older, I see the wisdom in the winter, especially when you're not on your phone, you're not connected to the bullshit that's out there, social media and all that shit. Not saying, you know, actually, yeah, I'm saying most of it's bullshit. So even the good stuff doesn't actually change your life, because how are you going to change your life in a 10-second clip? Even if it's valuable, you're just not. Um, And what goes along with that is that the medium is the message, and the medium of social media is that those quick hits. You can get what you want in as little time as possible without doing anything, without changing yourself at all. That's the message. So I got to say about that. But but yeah, as I get older, I see the wisdom in the winter and how you kind of use it. You can use it as a time to not only reflect, but like to build the foundation, guys, for what you want, whatever you want. And like build foundations, and then in the spring and the summer, that shit just rises up from the ashes. It rises. So I'm kind of hyped for winter, guys. It's gonna be tough because sunlight. I love it. It makes you feel good. I love wearing as little clothes as possible. um, my short shorts and shit like that. I love all that shit, to be honest. My bathing suits, the water. But winter is a time to build, guys. To build something awesome. Seeing the tobacco uh, shake its ass in the wind, shake its booty in the wind. Do not fear, guys. Do not fear. And I hope you guys are ready for. I actually made this hat, by the way. I made this hat. I went to Michael's, the craft store, and then I bought like a plain white hat, and then just put a vinyl sticker on the shit that I printed out. But I hope you guys are ready for winter, guys. I hope you guys are happy, yeah, ready for Halloween too. Halloween tomorrow, guys. Let's get lit. I wouldn't recommend eating the candy, but no, honestly, if you want a Kit Kat, have a Kit Kat. Fuck it. This fucking chipmunk is right there. The motherfucker that's in the house. This is side tangent right here. Dude, get away. Get out of here. Jeez, man. Seeing it running shit. Fucking cocksucker. Bang. Like for instance, like if you have a project, say that for instance, hold on. If you guys have a project or something, um, understand if it means something to you, there's gonna be so much fear in that project. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But then once you get into the flow of things, the fear, the fear just almost like disappears. And then what you're left with is flow, which is awesome. Just freaking awesome. You have to design your life to where it's all about flow states and maximizing flow states because that's what builds amazing things. I feel like this isn't talked about enough, where it's like you have to like grind and hustle and all this bullshit. Like it, the message is skewed because at the beginning is it can be a grind, yes, but after a while it becomes an absolute joy, and there's nothing else you'd rather be doing. That's what's missing. Like with the tobacco, um, I started it not knowing what the fuck, or even with the marijuana, like it was tough. Like you have to learn shit, but after a while, it becomes second nature. And of course, you still have to struggle through the learning process, but it just becomes second nature. Like if I were to start surfing or something, um, that would be it would be a struggle at first. But then once you get the hang of things, you do it on a daily basis. What's stopping you from getting to flow states? I'm just sitting here. I was just thinking about things. I feel like there needs to be more of that on YouTube. Just fucking just quiet. Just quiet. Just quiet. Just quiet. Um, yeah, I got some more stuff to do in the garden. I gotta shred some more leaves, and then it should be ready for next season. So yeah, that's what I usually do. I'm putting leaves on everything, even the walkways. Because I tried to get a tree company to drop off some wood chips. Never got back to me. It is what it is. But and I see them all the time. I'm like, why? I'm not gonna chase them. Um, so I'm using leaves, and in the spring I'll put compost and then more leaves. So living soil, baby, living soil. Treat the soil like it's your girlfriend, guys, or your boyfriend if you're a girl. Treat it like you love it. So, guys, I think that's all I got. Um, Fear, do not fear, guys. Do not fear. It's all gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Um, Beat the resistance every day. Beat its ass every day. Every freaking day, guys. And what is resistance? Resistance is fear. Fear. It's fear of what you can be. The ego's afraid of. It's afraid of what it can be because it wants to survive. That's the mechanism of the ego. It wants to preserve itself. So for you to grow as an individual, you basically have to get really good at analyzing your own ego. You have to learn psychology, um, spirituality, emotional mastery, all this stuff you got to get better at to analyze your ego and see how it manipulates and how it confuses you and how it lies to you to survive. And everyone's doing this. So, guys, I leave it at that. Happy Halloween. The milkman is out and about, baby. The milkman is here. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And yeah, take it easy. Peace.